They say pressure makes diamonds, but in football, pressure breaks people first. The NFL and college football world has never felt this unstable, this emotional, this personal. Superstars are falling. Young quarterbacks are being hunted, and the media just watches, waiting for the next collapse. Because for Jalen Ramsey, Dillon Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders, everything they built, everything they fought for, is being questioned. And it all starts with silence. A silence louder than any stadium roar. Before the injury, Jalen Ramsey wasn't just a cornerback. He was an attitude, a message, a warning. When he lined up across from you, you didn't just play football, you fought for survival. Cut to clips of Ramsey locking down Tyreek Hill, DeAndre Hopkins, trash-talking, arms folded, unbothered. But then, training camp, a routine play, a knee twist, and suddenly, the loudest voice in the NFL went silent. No more press conferences, no more Instagram stories, no more "I'm him," just hospital lights and the sound of machines. They said his season was over, that he should sit out, heal up. But that's not Jalen Ramsey. Doctors told him he'd be gone for months. He came back in weeks. People thought it was a miracle. It wasn't. It was pain, blood, stitches, anger. And when he finally returned to the field, the world expected a legend. But instead, they saw a human. He got burned on a play. He missed a tackle. And social media exploded. Was he overrated? Is Ramsey done? Another washed-up star. But what they don't understand is this. People didn't see his childhood. The backyard games in Hawaii. The long nights watching Tua and Mariota, dreaming he'd be next. They didn't see him playing with a broken clavicle. They didn't see the nights when he wondered, will anyone believe in me? He transferred. New team. New expectations. No mistakes allowed, and still, no one cared. Until he started winning games he wasn't supposed to win. They say the NFL is a business, but sometimes it feels more like a battlefield, where legacies are built and forgotten in the blink of an eye. September felt like any other month. Fans screaming. Stadium lights are burning through the night. Hundreds of millions are watching from their living rooms. But behind the cheers, behind the fantasy stats and highlight reels, something darker was coming, something no one was ready for. Because this season wasn't just about football, it was about pride, it was about disrespect, it was about players who were done being doubted. And it all started with one man, Jalen Ramsey. If you know football, you know the name, the swagger, the trash talk, the shutdown corner who never feared anyone. But this year, he wasn't talking. He couldn't, because for the first time in his career, he was broken. A brutal knee injury. Sidelined. Forgotten. The media moved on. Fans called him washed. A system corner. Finished, Jalen Ramsey went quiet. No interviews, no excuses, just work and a promise. They're gonna remember my name. So when he came back, he didn't walk onto the field. He owned it. First game. Fourth quarter. Dolphins desperate. Quarterback fires to the end zone. Then, silence. Ramsey launches out of nowhere. Interception. Game over. No dance. No celebration. Just a cold stare into the camera. Like he was asking, "You forgot who I am?" Nobody forgot again. Before the spotlight ever hit him, nobody believed in Dillon Gabriel. Too small. Not elite. Wrong school. No NFL bloodline. Just a cannon for a left arm. And a heart that refused to quit. UCF. Oklahoma. Every time they doubted him, he proved them wrong. But now, it was his final year. One shot to silence the scouts. One mistake, and the dream ends. Red River rivalry. Oklahoma versus Texas. Down by 3. 65 seconds. No timeouts. Snap. Crowd roaring. Pocket collapsing. Gabriel rolls left. Eyes scanning. Everything on the line. Time running out. Then he fires. A dart. Straight into the hands of his receiver. Touchdown. Texas fans froze. Oklahoma's sideline exploded. And Dillon Gabriel? He just lowered his head, whispered a prayer, and walked off like he'd been there before. They stopped calling him too small after that. Most quarterbacks fight for attention. Shedeur Sanders was born under a spotlight, son of Deion Sanders. NFL legend, Hall of Famer. The world expected greatness from day one, and if he failed, he wouldn't just disappoint fans, he would disappoint history. Colorado wasn't supposed to matter. They were a forgotten program. 11. Dead on arrival. Then Deion came, and he brought Shedeur with him. Week 1. TCU last year's national championship runner-up. Nobody gave Colorado a chance. Shedeur stepped onto the field calm, almost too calm, like the pressure didn't exist, like 9 million. People weren't watching. Then he threw for 510 yards, got 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. The world went silent. Reporters asked if he felt nervous. He smiled and said 3 words that broke the internet. Do you believe now? But this wasn't a fairy tale. Because the hits came, the protection faded. And week after week, he got knocked down. Late in the season, he took so many sacks that fans started begging Deion to pull him out. His body bruised, his hand swollen. He could barely grip a football. And yet, he kept standing back up. Why? Because he wasn't playing for rankings. He wasn't playing for fame. He was playing for legacy. His name, his father's name. And win or lose, he made sure the world knew one thing. Colorado was no longer a joke. But success doesn't last long in football. The higher you rise, the louder the hate gets. Jalen Ramsey, Dillon Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders. 3 different players, 3 different paths. But suddenly, all 3 were facing the same enemy: the media, the critics, the expectations. Ramsey came back from injury like a storm. Shutdown corners weren't supposed to heal that fast. People started saying he was overrated, only good because of Miami's defense, or not the same guy he used to be. Then came one bad game. One missed tackle, and the headlines wrote themselves, "Is Jalen Ramsey finished?" The league has figured him out. For Dillon Gabriel, it was worse. Every game became a judgment. Every throw, a trial. NFL scouts didn't care about last week's heroics. They cared about hand size, throwing mechanics, arm angles. Sports talk shows asked if he could survive against SEC defenses. Some even said he was a backup at best. One analyst went viral saying, "He'll never make it in the NFL. He doesn't look the part." You could see it in his eyes. He heard every word. Then there was Shedeur Sanders, the man who broke ratings records, sold out stadiums, and put Colorado football back on the map. But when the losses came, so did the backlash. People said he was only good because of his dad, said he was cocky, said he cared more about watches and Instagram than football. After a brutal game where he was sacked 7 times, he walked off the field holding his ribs. Fans expected him to blame the offensive line, but he didn't. He just said, "We'll be back. Bet." Pressure can crush a man, or it can build something unbreakable. Ramsey stopped talking to reporters. He trained in silence, hours before practice. Hours after it, he said only one thing to a teammate: "They want me gone. They'll have to take me out themselves." Dillon Gabriel spent nights alone in the film room, not for fame, but for respect. Shedeur Sanders stopped with the watches and jokes. He got quiet, cold, hungry. His father told him, "They don't boo nobodies." And everything changed. The world doubted them. Headlines buried them. Fans moved on. Silence followed. Then, one by one, they answered Miami versus Buffalo. Division on the line. Down by 6. 2 minutes left. Josh Allen fires to Stephon Diggs. Looks like the dagger. But from the shadows, Jalen Ramsey. He jumps the route. Interception. He could go out of bounds. Instead, he cuts inside. One tackle, another. 30 yards, 40, touchdown. No dance, no trash talk. Just a stare at the Buffalo sideline. I told you, I'm still here. Oregon versus Oklahoma. Bowl game. Final drive. Tie game, 30 seconds, no timeouts. Dillon Gabriel scans the field. Safety creeping. Corner pressing. He knows this is the moment. Snap. Looks right. Pump fake. Looks left. Receiver streaks down the sideline. Covered. He throws it anyway. Perfect spiral. Over the defender's fingertips. Into the end zone. Touchdown. Game over. No celebration. No smile. Just a whisper. I belong here. Colorado versus Arizona. Freezing cold. Snow falling. Season slipping away. Most quarterbacks would quit. Shedeur Sanders didn't. Fourth quarter. Down by 8, blood on his jersey, pain in his ribs. 4th and goal. Last chance. Snap. Pocket collapses. He steps into the hit. And fires. Back of the end zone. Touchdown, silence. Then chaos. Shedeur walks off, ribs bruised, eyes calm. This isn't over. They didn't win every game. They didn't silence every critic. But respect finally came. Ramsey proved greatness survives injury. Gabriel proved heartbeat's measurements. Shedeur proved legacy is earned, not inherited. Different players, different paths, one truth. You can doubt them, hate them, laugh at them, but you cannot break them, because legends aren't born. They're made on fields where nobody believes in you except yourself.